built up. We have a lot of this. Now, we're going to be going on from here on out. We're going to talk about some environmental issues. There is in the handout. You can run off the environmental issues and we'll go over. Remember, I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to say, okay, tell me about acid rain, or tell me about the ozone problem, or maybe tell me about the greenhouse problem. And you're going to have to come up with what's the cause, what's the effect of what's going on, and how to fix it. Right? So we're going to start with acid rain. Now, acid rain is caused by our SO2s, which are your sulfur oxides, and our NO2s, which are your nitrogen oxides. These are chemicals, again, these rise up in the atmosphere where water being condensed is part of our water cycle, and they mix with the water that's up there in the water cycle, and they actually make acid. My sulfur oxides are going to make sulfuric acid. My nitrogen oxides are going to make nitric acid, and then just look, they go down into the rain. Okay? They fall down as precipitation. And there they are on our cars and our trees and in our ponds. And they are going to do damage. So acid rain is going to go with our water cycle, aren't they? So where do we get sulfur oxide? Well, most of that comes from burning coal that has sulfur in it. So it's coming from your fossil fuels, which do have sulfur in them. Now, there's sulfur in other places. You have up in Yellowstone, you can smell the sulfur in the water. It is other places, but that tends to be one. That's why we're putting it in there.
So Yellowstone doesn't cause sulfur oxide or acid rain, does it?
No. Well, I mean, anytime you're putting, a lot of our environmental issues are not that this hasn't happened before. What it is that we are overwhelming our natural cycles that we're cleaning up. Okay? So, my nitrogen oxide, we get that, again, car exhaust. So you're burning fuel, there is it in there. Nitrogen is very important for plants. So we have this huge agricultural system that is putting nitrogen on plants. So fertilizers are a source of nitrogen oxide. Sewage treatment plants. Right in the scale. Okay. What are the effects of it? So what does it do? Well, in the aquatic environment, it's going to go into your shellfish, and it actually makes soft shells. So the problem with that is now you have organisms that are less resistant to predators and environmental problems. You've got soft shells, that's a defense. Now they're more vulnerable. They also go in there and they're going to be doing damage to the sperm and the egg of these aquatic creatures. Well, this is interrupting your reproductive cycle. So your birth rate is going to go down. You're going to have less of these. Again, they tend to be more dangerous because of the levels. Now remember, what goes up comes down. If it's falling in the rain, it's going to be not only in your ponds, but in your streams, and in your rivers, and in your oceans, and your sediments. On the plant. As it falls on plants, it causes brown and yellow spots on the leaves. Well, the leaves need the green to do photosynthesis. This is a huge problem in some of our big manufacturing cities up to the north. just across the border to the north, they have Canada with huge forests, and, you know, we tend to share our pollutants. That is a problem. The acid also weakens the roots of the plant, makes the plants more vulnerable to storms and other things that are coming by. In there, you have toxic metals, again, that are going to leach from the sediment. Lead, aluminum, mercury. As your plants try to take this up, it displaces the calcium and the magnesium. It stunts their growth. We have unhealthy plants. Buildings and people. That's going to be damage. Anything it gets on, it's going to hurt lungs and respiratory problems. As you get stuck in their inversions, you guys know what an inversion is? Ever so often you get them here. Inversion is where you've got warm air above cold air, and it holds all of your pollutants in. And it holds it down, dimmer. I taught for many years in Salt Lake Valley, where we had mountains on two sides, and you get the inversion, and it would hold stuff down. Keep all of the pollutants in there. Schools, you know, and warned not to have outside recess for days, you know, or it holds it down in there. And in your lungs. Well, as it falls, you're going to have erosion of statues. This is fun. This is a statue on a firehouse back east. First picture was taken in 1908, the second one in 1969. 61 years later, and this beautiful statue is almost gone. And this is the effects of acid rain and the erosion away. Acid. It will weaken the brick. I know I knew somebody who lived in LA, they said every time it rained, there were lines of car washes trying to get the sticky stuff off your car. I know in Europe you have ruins that have made it thousands of years, and acid rain is destroying them. So how do you solve that? Which fuel? Well, you know what, that sounds easy. Are we just going to totally give up our gasoline cars? Not right away, right? We can wash the coal and get as much sulfur out of it before we burn the coal as possible. Taller smokestacks now, and that's more than just a joke. That's not just because it gets in a fire before it falls back down. It's over in Kansas. You actually put things in the smokestacks that are taking out some of your pollutants that fall down. They actually have things that will help wash what's going up. Just add 1 to stone to the coal before you burn it. Ozone. Ozone has to do with how many ultraviolet rays actually come through and reach you. Ultraviolet rays from the sun, very natural, but UV rays cause DNA damage in all living organisms. In humans, too much UV ray exposure causes skin cancer and causes cataracts in the eyes of humans. When I was in high school, the whole thing was dark, surfer kind of tan. You would spend hours out, you know, trying to get a good tan so you would look healthy. And a lot of my generation is paying for that with skin cancer. Nowadays, you take your kids out, what do? Yeah, you slather them with sun protection. Guess what? We are finding that sunblock, you know, your 50, 60, actually it's the damage to skin, you don't want to go below 30. Kids go, there's a little similar together.
I was just going to say, for what it's worth, for what you're talking about, you also need it too, because it produces vitamin D.
Exactly. Well, and more we have students or kids with a vitamin D deficiency, because we used to just play outside all day, and now we sunblock them. You do need it, and thank you for bringing that up, that is very important. You do need, that's where you get your vitamin D. Okay. Phytoplankton, remember that is in your aquatic areas, the beginning of the food chain, can be damaged by your UV rays, and remember they are the grasslands and meadows of your aquatic ecosystem. So they're important. One is ozone. Okay. Ozone layer is a protective layer in the stratosphere out there that reduces the amount of UV rays that make it through to the Earth's surface. So it's this blanket of ozone. The Earth, here we have our ozone layer. Now the difference is ozone is O3. The oxygen that we breathe is O2. So what happens is your O2 oxygen goes up into your highest atmosphere, and they actually react with a high energy UV light, and we form O2. Okay? So ozone. There are some things that they actually clean with ozone. Has kind of a smell to it. They have found holes in the ozone layer, and at this point we're just going to put this natural, or is this totally caused by us? I'm in there. I'm really sure it's really kind of arrogant. It's not our fault, but it is there, and we do know that as your ozone layers go down, your UV rays go up, skin cancer rates go up. We can't just make fun of it if they are real. So, formation of ozone is slowed or stopped by nitrogen oxides and chlorine, which we send into the atmosphere in the form of, you need to know this word, chlorofluorocarbons. We usually abbreviate them as CFCs. You need to know that a CFC is a chlorofluorocarbon.
So, right?
What? That would be in a multiple choice question. On essays, you put CFCs, I would accept it. Chlorine, fluorine, carbon. Fluoro. Now, guys, we're going to talk about the ozone problem, and then we're going to talk about the greenhouse effect. They are two different things. Ozone problem is caused by CFCs. Anybody know where we have CFCs? Spray cans. Your aerosol cans. They used to. You know, for many, many years, you could not get aerosol hairspray. You went to the pump for decades. Okay? It's back. But it's a different, what you call it, propellant in it. Okay, your big ones. Hairspray, your aerosols. Refrigerants such as Freon. If you have an older refrigerator and you want to take it to the dump, they will not accept it. You have to take it to a place that will harvest, take out the Freon, because you release the Freon, it goes up there into the ozone layer and starts breaking apart the ozone. And guess what? It doesn't break apart one, and then it's over. It continues. It just, you know. Propellants and aerosol cans, there are refrigerants and propellants now that are not CFCs. That's why you start seeing them again. Fire retardants, things that we put in children's clothes so they don't burn readily. Certain things that we clean electronics and computers with, some of those break-ins. Chemicals that we use to soften our pillows and the clothes that we wear. You know, you buy a new one, they're so soft, and then never that soft again. Making foam plastic, styrofoam. Styrofoam rubber. You love styrofoam, right? There's lots of stuff in it. How biodegradable is styrofoam? 500 years from now, it may be in little bitty pieces, but it will still be styrofoam. Fun thing, I don't know, I think it's interesting. A few years ago, they did this big thing up with McDonald's, because McDonald's is putting all of their burgers and all of their sandwiches in those styrofoam containers. And they said, all right, look at all of this styrofoam. Look at this. Stop going to McDonald's until they do something that is more environmentally friendly. You go to McDonald's now. Do you get a Big Mac in styrofoam? No. Cardboard, isn't it? They use cardboard and they use paper. Change stuff. I say Nagano, but that's not it. Where was the Olympics in Norway? We were back in the 1990s. Anyway, they got into, we're going to have all these people here from the styrofoam. We will be dealing with garbage forever. So they actually made potato-based plates and forks and knives that when you put them in the landfill, they would biodegrade. They were made from potatoes. Millions of people there, and this is how we dealt with it. I thought, it can be done. Okay, so how do you solve the problem? Well, you stop the use of CFC. No, the propellants that are in our hairsprays are different. They no longer use Freon. You just stop it. So let me ask you, there is no other. All right, greenhouse effect. Now I want you to know the ozone and the greenhouse are very different. Okay? Same atmosphere, different problem. Greenhouse effect is dealing with carbon dioxide and CH4, which is methane gas. We have talked about carbon dioxide as being very important. Problem is too much. So, carbon dioxide and methane gas warm the air near the Earth's surface by allowing, what they do, is they allow solar radiation from the sun in. It hits the Earth. It changes that short wavelength into heat, which is an infrared, which is along the wavelength. It changes it to heat. You've all been out on a cold day where the sun is shining and you feel the rock and the rock is warm. That's what's going on. It sends it back out, but what happens is most of it gets reflected back in. Okay? So, the heat comes in and it's trapped. We all know this because we've all gotten into a car, even on a cold day, where the sun was shining on your windows and you get in the car and the car is warm. On a hot day, the car is killing warm, isn't it? You leave a dog 6 minutes in a car with the windows up and someone kill them. That's why people see animals in cars or children left in cars, and immediately they call them police, right? Get this now. So here's your greenhouse. The sunlight comes in, changes it to heat, which is your infrared. The infrared is a different wavelength. It goes out, and it is radiated. It is trapped by the greenhouse gases and kept in there. Causes heating of the atmosphere. This is your global warming. Greenhouse is global warming, ozone, UV rays, okay? Different things. Come on, you. Okay, so CO2 and CH4 trap heat, much like the glass panes of a greenhouse. Hence the name greenhouse effect. And use this in cold areas so we can grow things and have a longer growing season. But these greenhouse gases are warming. All right. Where do we get carbon dioxide? Where do we get methane, CH4? Animals? Cows actually in the process of breaking down and digesting their food and give off CH4. Somebody said something else?
Oh, we were just on CH4 is methane gas.
CH4 is methane gas. You may use CH4. That's just fine, I don't care. Here we have a greenhouse coming in. We're getting ready, obviously, for Christmas because it's all your homestead plants. Okay. So we have increased carbon dioxide levels due to, again, burning of your fossil fuels. Anytime you burn anything, carbon dioxide is given off. So you have burning of fossil fuels, gasoline to my car. Burning of crops in the rainforest, burning of, do that. Nuclear detonation.
How significant is that?
How what?
How significant proportion?
Nuclear detonation. It's a good question. I don't really know. We don't do a lot of it background. Those are regulating the work. In fact, we really watch it carefully. That would be a good thing to go Google and see what comes up. Supersonic jets. Well, supersonic jets, what are they doing? They're burning fossil fuel. They're sitting down here. Okay, all right. Greenhouse, the emissions of our greenhouse gases are accelerating. Now, from 2000 to 2005, global CO2 levels increased 4 times faster in a decade, that's the 10 years before that. For half a decade, we did 4 times what we did 10 years before. As humans, we tend to like our toys, we like our cars, we like our this. When you go in, I know I've got me out of time, your carbon footprint, this is one of the things that they were measuring. Carbon dioxide and methane are very natural gases. The problem is we are putting so many of them that we are overwhelming the cycles that would normally use them up. So we're putting a lot of them up here. What's the one that uses it up? Photosynthesis. I'm out of time. Guys, remind me to start with greenhouse effect.